Anyone paying even remote attention should have seen this coming. I don't know how Congress is going to vote on Iran or if they will have the guts to reclaim their authority over this president. But I know exactly how I would vote if I were privileged to represent Alabama's 5th Congressional District. It's pretty simple. Literally no realistic scenario in which I could support this administration's call for war or their justification for acts of war. I understand this situation very clearly. I'm living proof of the consequences of war in a Congress that didn't have the guts to reclaim its authority. I've pledged my life to defend the Constitution, an oath that does not expire. And because I've done that, and because I'm stepping up to run for Congress, I know that service members are relying on us to make the best decisions with their lives. I've had to consider this moment to prepare for the job. And as always, I owe it to the people of our district and our country to communicate clearly about how I would navigate this. I know how I'd vote on war because I've always felt like this was the real possibility under Donald Trump. And I felt that way because I've been paying attention to the actions and the words of this administration. Anyone paying even remote attention should have seen this coming. Any candidate running for Congress should know how they'd respond to this situation. Because this is the job. I can say confidently, without a doubt, that I cannot envision any realistic scenario in which I or anyone else should trust the information that this president or any of his sycophantic supporters in Congress are sharing about threats to our country. Because they are the threat to our country. You see, they're willing to violate the Constitution openly and sit back with their arms crossed, daring anyone to try and stop them like, now what? What are you going to do about it? Their policies, actions, legislation, and rhetoric are all endangering American lives at home and abroad by weakening our democracy, terrorizing our own citizens, and bypassing Congress completely. And because I've sacrificed, and my family has sacrificed, and your families are sacrificing for this country, it's incumbent upon anyone with this sacred responsibility of authorizing military action on behalf of our country to have a high threshold and a high expectation of indisputable proof of a threat to our nation before ever considering a vote authorizing war. My default position is no war. I need to be convinced beyond a shadow of a doubt that there are large-scale actionable threats that require military involvement. I need to be convinced that there's simply no other choice because it's much too serious to be so cavalier with. And we can't operate in feels and trust me bros here. Reclaim the power of Congress and put restrictions on the use of military force so our current president or any future president doesn't get us mixed up in World War III or another useless war that costs millions of lives and billions of dollars. So given this explanation and our clear understanding of what is at stake and how this regime is going to lie and act without regard for consequences, how could anyone say they don't know how they would vote on war with Iran? Alabama, you know how serious this midterm election is. We have to take the House. This primary is coming up on May 19th. Vote for me, Jeremy DeVito, as your Democratic nominee, and rest assured that when I get to Congress, this president and this administration will be put in check. There will be accountability. And Congress will reclaim its power so that we can enforce the will of the people.